his great rival for just the 6th time in this, their 28th meeting, if you exclude the Premier League, where they've drawn 3 times. O'Sullivan having won 22, so he's been very much on top overall. But Ding has scored some big wins over his opponent. More on that later, but in the meantime, it's good evening from Shanghai to Stephen Hallworth. Hi, Steve.
Oh, good evening, Phil. Good evening, everybody. What an occasion this is, and what an atmosphere in the arena. I've got goosebumps. Felt like Christmas Eve last night, thinking about this game today. So excited for this one. 2 titans of our game. Probably the 2 most loved snooker players here in China as well. What a reception for both. This is going to have some fireworks, I'm sure.
What a start. What a start. What a red. You won't see many better long pots than that in the whole tournament. Brilliant cueing from Ding. That's a taste of what's to come. Strap your seatbelts on.
Well, if there was ever such thing as a settler out there in the arena, that was it. What a pot that was from Ding. Just crunched the red in. As I say, a packed atmosphere. So many people in for this one. But what you can guarantee is that, okay, they're all Ding fans. They all love Ronnie as well, but they're all snooker fans first and foremost, and what a match this could be.
Oh, that was a very attacking shot from Ding. It was a pretty thinnish cut, and he's got the second part of the shot very nicely with the split into the reds. Unfortunately for him, the brown has stayed out. This is actually their first meeting in China since this tournament in '09, when O'Sullivan won the first of his 5 titles. But they played 3 times last year, and each time O'Sullivan got the better of Ding, including, of course, that record-breaking 8th UK championship, 10-7 in the final after Ding had pushed him very hard. O'Sullivan responded at the end of the match. And then the memorable Masters meeting when Ding made a maximum but lost 6-3. And then the semi-finals of the World Grand Prix when O'Sullivan was basically unplayable. 4 centuries, a 90 and a 70. Even by his standards, that performance was extraordinary. Even he had to admit he played well on that occasion, Stephen.
It's not very often he does that, is he? He's always so critical of his performance, Ronnie O'Sullivan. But these are the occasions that he can really get himself up for. These get the juices flowing, this type of match. Playing Ding in his own backyard. He's got so much respect for Ding as well. They're really good friends off the table. But there's no friends out there in this arena. Both of these players desperate to get the win tonight. Huge tournament, isn't it? The Shanghai Masters, £210,000 for the winner. Okay, it's not a ranking event anymore, but it still feels that way. All the best players in the world here. Top 16 on the world rankings. The 4 highest ranked Chinese players out of that 16 and 4 wild cards. It's the cream of the crop.
And O'Sullivan got the better of one of those wild cards. Zhou Junhui, who clearly has a lot of talent, 16 years of age. He'd beaten Zhang Anda and had chances to make the scoreline more respectable than 6-1 as it ended, but O'Sullivan was playing very much within himself. Today will be a very different story. He knows he's going to have to play well to beat Ding. Oh, that only just wriggled in.
But what a fine shot a few moments ago he just played. The brown over the hole. Went a little bit unnoticed that. He played it off the side cushion first, purely for positional purposes. couldn't get back down this end of the table. He was too straight. Chose to play it cushion first, controlled it quite beautifully, and now back in prime position. This is exactly what Ding would not have wanted to see so early on in this match. He can't afford to let Ronnie get too far ahead. We all know how good he is.
Well, it was a real statement of intent from Ding, wasn't it? That brilliant opening red, and to use the brown to bust the pack open, just sending a sign that he's going to go for it, which of course he's going to have to do if he's to beat O'Sullivan. But unfortunately for him, he couldn't quite execute the pot and has given that chance that he created to his opponent, and O'Sullivan looks very likely to make him pay.
45.
Yeah, I agree. Ding has to take the game to Ronnie today. You know, we all know how Ding can be when he gets in amongst the balls. His cue ball control is quite exceptional at times, and he's going to need it today because he has to score heavy to beat Ronnie O'Sullivan.
54.
He's going to be in his 50th year, O'Sullivan, come the end of 2024, and yet you watch him play, and we saw what an amazing season he had last year. UK, Masters, plenty more tournaments to boot, and you think, well, is there any real diminishing of his skills? And if there are, then it's barely discernible, let's put it that way.
Makes you wonder if he's ever going to go, doesn't it? Like, you know, you see a few players down the years, as age their cueing starts to go, and different parts of the game, you know, their eyesight, etc. But when is this man ever going to stop being, quite simply, the best player we've ever seen? It's just hard to imagine that his level would ever drop. We just almost come to expect Ronnie to put in fabulous performances each time we see him. And he keeps delivering, doesn't he?
77.
Took a brilliant performance from Stuart Bingham to beat him at the World Championship in the quarterfinals, when everyone had been anticipating a O'Sullivan-Trump showdown, and of course in the event they both lost, Trump to Jack Jones.
84.
But aside from that, an outstanding campaign, even by O'Sullivan standards. Player of the season.
85.
And he's done for this frame in a very quick time.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 85 on the plate.
No century, but a quick fire 85 from Ronnie O'Sullivan. Ronnie O'Sullivan bidding for a 6th Shanghai Masters title and his 5th in a row. Of course, we had the 4-year gap because of COVID. Last year, he retained the title with a hard-fought victory over Luca Brissell, who lost to Si Junhui. Mentioned that Ding won this in 2013. That was a history-making final, actually, the first all-Chinese ranking event final. He played Xiao Guodong in the final and won it, and went on to do what Trump did last season, win 3 ranking events on the bounce. 2 of only 5 players to have achieved that.
Well, it's a good job this table is nice and quick, because Ding was up pretty quick off that one. Felt it caught it too thick, but you can see the cue ball just kept on rolling. And luckily it did, because the green is now covering that red that would have been available for O'Sullivan.
Ding only has those 5 victories to call upon against his opponent today, but 4 of them have been very significant. a final, the Northern Ireland Trophy, way back in '06, but also twice at the UK Championship and the World Championship in 2017 over the best of 25. So he does have memories of beating O'Sullivan on the grandest stages. Hang on, hang on.
Foul. Ronnie O'Sullivan 4.
Virtually every seat taken for this one. Further evidence of just how quick these tables are.
Just glanced the green there, didn't he, which sent the cue ball into the pocket. Otherwise it would have been a nice safety shot. And again, that silky smooth action from O'Sullivan, you can just pretty much guarantee he's just going to knock that type of shot in. Controlled it nicely for the black as well. And again, so early on in this frame, the reds have become spread. The early exchanges of this match for me are imperative for Ding. He has to get a foothold in the game. He can't afford to be so far behind going into the mid-session interval, because we all know how good Ronnie is as a front runner.
Nine.
That's absolutely true. He's dished out some fearful beatings, even to true greats of the game down the years when he's built a lead early. O'Sullivan did it to Stephen Hendry a couple of times at the Crucible, absolutely destroyed him with virtually a session to spare.
11.
In fact, I think he did win with a session to spare on one occasion. But equally, if you can stay with him, then he, like anyone else, will feel the pressure. He is only human. And that was exactly what Stuart Bingham was able to do at the World Championship. Keep the pressure on.
Ronnie O'Sullivan 11.
Shared the first 16 frames of that match and then kicked on in the deciding session to beat O'Sullivan 13-10 Bingham. So it can be done. This is obviously a shorter match, but there is wiggle room. First to 6, time to recover from a shaky start, but clearly Ding wants to hang tough with O'Sullivan today. Stay with him. This is not quite going to plan at the moment.
Ronnie O'Sullivan 4.
Bit of a collector's item from Ronnie a few moments ago as well. A positional error. Came down the table from the yellow and again overran. Didn't land on a red, so had to play safe. One thing that Ronnie is so good at doing is adapting to conditions as quickly as possible. We've mentioned that in previous years gone by, the conditions can be quite heavy out here in China, but, you know, look at Ronnie's record. It's unbelievable. He just adapts. The best players will always find a way to do that. Doesn't matter how the tables are playing. He's there to play a game of snooker at the end of the day, and he'll do whatever it takes to win. Never lets things like that get the better of him. Just cracks on with it.
Judd Trump has taken the opening frame against C, by the way, break of 74. Well, at that pace, they've got to be absolutely 100% accurate, otherwise they'll rattle and stay out.
Ronnie just weighing his options up here. He's got a red that he could be tempted by, but you can see there's more value in this shot, getting Ding in behind the green. He's got such a presence out there in the arena, hasn't he, Ronnie O'Sullivan? It's not just how good he is on the table, it's what he does around the table as well. Just has that aura about him. Playing him must almost feel like You're just being constricted at times. He just gets his hands on you and he just doesn't let go, does he? He knows how to kill off opponents out there in the arena. It's why he's one of the greatest, if not the greatest of all time. Done everything there is to do in this game, but he still wants more. The area of the table Ronnie would love to leave the cue ball is up near that green pocket, because there's a lot of traffic down this right side of the table for Ding to play a return safety shot. Now you can see him trying to get that cue ball over in that area.
Ding's most recent victory over O'Sullivan was at the UK Championship a couple of years ago. Extraordinary match, actually. He won 6-0.
And that's the difference with the tactical exchanges in a match like this. Both player fully aware of the other. You're always trying to just force a mistake. See, it was easy for Ronnie to just send the cue ball up to Bork. You know, the average club player may think that a safety shot, getting the cue ball to the Bork cushion, is fine enough. It isn't. You're looking to try and leave no return option. And that's what Ronnie did, put Ding in a lot of trouble there. Ding's safety shot was so difficult and it's created an opening.
Eight. Nine. Twelve. One side on 12.
You can hear the crowd, can't you, willing Ding on every time he comes to the table, but this is far from an easy pot. Just because Ronnie's missed doesn't mean that he's left a sitter for Ding. This is very awkward, and that's a fantastic pot from Ding. Okay, he's not nice with his cue ball, but it was a tough pot.
I think one of the most impressive aspects of Ding's career has been the way in which he's been able to carry the weight of expectation, which obviously in his formative years was difficult. And that was also difficult. And at the moment, he can't catch a break. Ding Junhui started the match with that sensational long red, missed the brown. He's been in off a couple of times since then. That was not the sort of shot you want against Ronnie O'Sullivan, in form, having just fired in an 85 break.
Yeah, it's not the sort of shot you want against anyone, really, particularly so early on in a match. But Ding, again, he's staying positive, which I like to see. He's not going to go into his shell today, which is good. Can't afford to do that against Ronnie. Okay, he's missed a couple of chances, but they were far from easy. That black was very missable. And it's probably going to cost him. But yeah, it's hard to imagine really what Ding goes through or what he has gone through throughout his career, carrying the weight of China on his shoulders.
16.
He's the reason why the game has grown so much in Asia. A lot of young talent coming through.
17.
Zhou Yulong, Pang Zhengzhou and Si Jiahui all in the quarterfinals. Okay, 2 of them have been knocked out today, but that's because of Ding. You know, they may never have started playing because of Ding. We've got a lot to thank Ding for. He's a superb ambassador for the game. And he's a lovely bloke to boot as well. Oh, and again, that red just wriggled in, didn't it, from Ronnie? He's potted a few so far in this match that have just crept in off the side door.
And had that stayed out, would have been a very presentable chance for Ding to get right back in the frame, maybe even steal it, but that is academic now. It's going to be 2-0, barring something remarkable. He only needs this black. Well, he did miss a red, O'Sullivan, to the left corner from mid-range, but Ding was left with a horrible shot on the black after an excellent initial red.
41.
And this is the result.
$48. 49.
And the speed at which O'Sullivan does his damage just adds to the sense of a match getting away from you before you can even establish yourself.
54.
You've only been playing for about 20 minutes or so. It's already 2-0 O'Sullivan.
55. Ronnie O'Sullivan, 55.
No great breaks in that frame, but Ronnie O'Sullivan with a couple. Ding, the second most successful player in Shanghai with 2 titles, but already up against it a little at 2-0 down.
Very close to the long red, and I think he's left the gap. So first early chance falls to Ding in this third frame in what is a massive frame for him. He has to win this. He's got to win at least one of the next 2 to go into the interval with a glimmer of hope. The brown in the first frame is looking a big ball now. The brown he missed to the corner pocket going into the pack of reds. He played the split so perfectly. He was a couple of mil away from that brown dropping. Had it gone in, we could have been looking at 2-0 Ding potentially, but Ronnie doing what he does best, and he just capitalises. Tough shot that is again for Ding. Not really able to dig down enough on the cue ball to get into the pink full ball.
6. Junhui, 6.
A lot of disappointed groans from this sizable audience in the early stages for the home favourite. Just not quite happening for him at the moment. And another chance for O'Sullivan from long range. But not this time now. Chance for Ding to get back in.
And again, look at the shot that Ding decided to play. Decided to take the red onto the green pocket. Had a very straightforward safety shot, which tells us again everything we need to know about Ding's approach to this match. He's going to attack. Can't blame him for that either, because, you know, it's difficult to beat Ronnie on any given day, but trying to match him tactically, and you know the frames could potentially go quite scrappy. That's not really playing to Ding's strengths. Ding's strength is when he gets in, when he's scoring, and he's controlling that cue ball as he does. Sometimes it's easy to, you know, we've all done it as players, play your opponent rather than the game. You know, there's nothing your opponent can do while you're at the table, so it's about Ding just trying to control himself here, just can dictate his own style of play for today and hope it's enough. Just didn't quite get the bend on the cue ball that he was after there, going into the pack of reds. Tough shot that from a high black, really trying to arc the white into the reds.
Yeah, it's just not going to plan at all at the moment for Ding Junhui. There's one thing missing, but to then gift O'Sullivan an early in makes it so much worse. That's not O'Sullivan's best shot. Unusual for him to find himself there after going into the bunch.
Runner side 8.
He hasn't won a ranking title, Ding Junhui, since he picked up his third UK in 2019. That's a long time ago now for a player of his calibre. He's come close a few times, obviously the UK final with O'Sullivan last season, when he played well in defeat. Made the final of the World Open last season, losing to Trump. Played brilliantly in a terrific match with Ali Carter to set up this showdown with O'Sullivan. You were commentating that, Stephen. The way he finished with that great long red and then a big break after Carter had come back at him was impressive.
Oh, it was superb, wasn't it? Because, yeah, like you say, Carter had just started to make a dangerous comeback, and you could see Ali's demeanour around the table. He was looking very confident.
Number 1.
And it took something
Mark
very
Allen
special from Ding.
Up against Pang Junhui,
floated in
first to 6 frames,
the decider, and
place
then
in the
the
quarterfinals
one visit
of the
from
Shanghai
it
Masters. Not
just shows you how good this boy is. He went missing for a few seasons, didn't he, Ding? But he's firmly back in the top 16. Currently sat at number 8 in the world rankings, and it's firmly where he belongs.
Well, that was a terrific red to get back in to the right centre. So can he now capitalise?
He's got a lot going on off the table as well, hasn't he, Ding? I just wonder if that played a part in those couple of seasons where his results were way below par and he started to plummet down the rankings. He's a family man now. He's got an academy in Sheffield. I'm sure lots of duties over in China as well.
8.
You know, all that plays a part in your focus leading up to events. Your mind could tend to be elsewhere, but he looks very focused now to me. He's back. He knows what he wants to do. He wants to play snooker. He loves the game still. That's a fantastic shot from Ding. Green into the pack. He's gone a little bit closer to the side cushion than he would have liked. Ideally wants to be quite straight on this red, and he isn't. Again, just landed a little bit awkward. He's got to pump this cue ball through the pack here, possibly find a little gap between the 3 reds and the single one. Just played it nicely.
12.
This now the key shot in this break. If he can get nicely on his next red, you fancy him to take out the frame at this visit. Had to avoid baulk colours. He was playing with lots of right-hand side there, trying to drift past the green, give him 2 cushions down the table, and
17.
couldn't have gone much worse than that.
That's a real shame for Ding and his army of fans, because he was beginning to look good there. A couple of excellent pots in that break, but it's ended way earlier than it might have done, and he's had a bit of luck off that secondary cannon. Might be a bit premature to talk about must-win frames in frame 3 of a best of 11, but it almost feels that way for Ding. Needs a foothold. Otherwise things could get ugly.
I suppose every frame is a must-win frame when you're playing against someone like Ronnie O'Sullivan. He really just doesn't give you a sniff, does he? The odd mistake he does make, you just feel if you don't capitalise on it, that the game will just get away from you really quickly, because that's what he's able to do. He's able to kill off matches in such a short period of time. Well, just detected a little bit of a heavy contact there. You could see the object ball just lift from the bed of the table. Missed it thick as well, which would highlight that. Well, that's a superb shot that Ding has just played there. That plant needed making. He had to catch the first red very thin. Ronnie had a little bit of run there, covering that red over the side, the corner pocket, sorry, from the black. But what a shot he's made there. And again, look at where he's left the cue ball. He's leaving everything for Ronnie. That had to go. Fantastic from Ding.
Yes, a series of outstanding pots in this frame, and now imperative that he goes on to clinch it at this visit.
9.
One of the greatest break builders we've ever seen, not just in terms of how prolific he's been in making centuries. He's on 663 for his career, but the quality of his cue ball. He's still only 37. Some players aren't reaching their peak these days until beyond that age, so there's still plenty of time for Ding to embellish his CV. It's all about desire at this stage. You've alluded to the fact that he's got plenty of other priorities in his life aside from snooker.
33.
It's hard to overestimate what a big deal it would be if he could complete the Triple Crown set and become a world champion. He's been in the final, of course. That would be huge, and a very popular win at that.
God, it would be chaos, wouldn't it, if Ding was to win the Worlds? There's no reason why he can't. There's obviously been a lot of talk about it for a number of years, and it possibly comes as a surprise that he hasn't gone on to lift the title. But from what we've mentioned, you know, a lot going on for him. It's not easy to win that title. You know, there's so many good players about. Some of the greatest players of all time still going very strong. Ding's gone close.
47.
But this is where he comes into his own in amongst the balls. He's absolutely mustard, isn't he?
54.
Big frame for him to win this as well. It was important.
56.
Now another big one coming up. If he can get to the interval at 2 each, having gone 2-0 down, that would be a right result for Ding.
59.
And in the process, getting some rhythm into his game. It was a bit stop-start with the chances he had in the first couple of frames. A few errors, some awkward pots that went astray, but he's played this frame
63.
exceptionally well.
68.
And now seeing it like a football. An 81 clearance from Ding Junhui. That's got the crowd going. A vital intervention. 85 in the opener, and then a 55 to mop up frame 2.
Nice to see Ding make a big break in the last. It's what he has to do in this match. He's got to take the game to Ronnie O'Sullivan. Try and play to his strengths, which is scoring. Delicate little one this for Ronnie, left-handed, just trying to nip into the cue ball, and he's got nowhere near the pot there. That was a tricky little one, but expected him to get closer than that. So a big let off for Ding, having missed the red himself. Looks as if he's able to just screw the cue ball around the back of the black for the black into the same pocket. Just needs to be mindful of where the two reds are to the right of the black, though. This table's so quick, as we've mentioned. Doesn't want to snooker himself behind one of them. No, he didn't really get into that cue ball.
One.
Bit of a sloppy shot, that, from Ding. Wanted a lot more backspin on the white to just widen the angle off the cushion. Left-hand side on the cue ball as well. He's put himself in a spot of bother now. From what we've seen so far in this match, he's attacked, but this black is so tough. It's hard to see how he can play a telling safety shot, really. Oh, how close did he get to it?
One.
Well, that aerial view told the story. Did a tour of the lip of the pocket, but sadly for Ding, refused to drop. What a difference that could make.
1.
So close to dropping there for Ding. That might just be the difference between 2 each and 3-1. Mind you, this is a tester from longish range for O'Sullivan to keep the break going. Oh, he's overcut it, so a bit scratchy from O'Sullivan since he took a 2-0 lead. And Ding's going to need that if he's to prevail today.
Yeah, it was a bit of a timing shot, that one, which you just have to slow the delivery down upon striking the cue ball, just to try and nip into the white and hold for that red. Probably would have knocked it in if he was pumping it round the angles. So again, another let-off for Ding, and that's 2 in this frame. He can't afford to not capitalise on these errors from O'Sullivan.
8.
The 2 reds either side of the pack are the ones that Ding
9.
will probably focus on for the time being, and then there's a red just at the back of the cluster that will eventually pass into this right corner. He can leave himself low on that at some stage, bring more reds into play. Thinking 4 or 5 shots ahead here, and it's what Ding will be doing.
16. 17. 24.
Well, he's on that red now, so there you see, he's able to just run this cue ball through, push a few more reds into play. He's not hit it properly.
25.
Needed a lot more pace on that. And he's out of position now. Can't see him taking this black on. He did stop that cue ball through the pack with much more pace. Sometimes it's easy to be a little bit tentative on that type of shot. You don't want to overdo it, but equally you don't want to underdo it.
He's left the red. Oh, that was a very disappointing visit from Ding's point of view. One thing to lose position, which he was disappointed with, but compounded by the fact that he left O'Sullivan the chance to get straight back in.
Six. 7.
Again, it wasn't clean, but in went the red. And again, another nicely controlled positional shot from Ronnie O'Sullivan.
12.
Just strikes the ball so well, doesn't he?
13.
So pure. Again, beautiful shot. Round the 2 cushions with right-hand
18.
side. Smaller gap to find between the green and brown as well. He played it to absolute perfection.
19.
'So this is the closest frame of the match so far, for sure, and a big one. You feel whoever goes into the interval having won it will be delighted. Ronnie with the chance to go 3-1 up, Ding with the chance to level things up.
24. 25. 30.
Well,
Ronnie Sullivan 30.
a scrappy affair, this fourth frame, but clearly very important and still in the balance.
Ding able to flick the only safe red out as well from that positional shot. Yeah, Ronnie just started to lose his cue ball a fraction at that visit and eventually became unfound, so chance for Ding now, and a good one. There's nothing really safe.
7.
The black on the top cushion he's not bothered about, happy to leave that there.
8.
He'll be highly delighted if he can get out of this unscathed at 2-all, start again, best of 7. Made an excellent 81 clearance in the previous frame, but aside from that, it's been a bit up and down from Ding, but that was a glaring error on the red just now from O'Sullivan.
13.
Is he going to pay with the frame?
$14.
Delightful shot from Ding. Knew exactly where he wanted to leave that cue ball, to just float the white over the side
17.
cushion, just flick the red out from behind. Perfectly controlled.
18.
Left his white in the exact spot where he could just roll it over that side of the table. Didn't have to play with any sort of spin on the white. It was a perfectly natural angle.
21.
Quick look at the scoreboard. Yellow, green and brown for 2-2. Oh, but in playing pace to get on the green, he's missed the yellow. Now, where's the yellow going to end up?
Ding Junhui 21.
Well, it could have been worse. It is potable. This frame becoming bigger by the shot.
You can see from that angle there, the angle that he left himself on that yellow was not nice. He had to pump that cue ball around the table. It was a poor previous shot to even leave himself low on that yellow. Had to be straight or high, really.
And happily for Ding, that miss didn't cost him the frame, which is still up for grabs.
No doubt their head-to-head will always play a part in the psychology of Ding coming into a match against O'Sullivan. O'Sullivan leading the head-to-head 22-5, which is quite prolific. But what Ding has here is he's got the home advantage in Shanghai. He's got the crowd. Of course, they all love Ronnie as well. They love snooker, but they'd love to see their main man win. Feels very energised in the arena, and I'm sure Ding is feeling it too.
Foul and I miss. 105.
It's going to go back.
I suppose in football terms it would feel like the 12th man out there, wouldn't it, having this support in this arena.
It can be a double-edged sword though, can't it? And we've already alluded to the weight of expectation on Ding, always expected to deliver. And if you're struggling a bit, sometimes that support can actually work the other way, because it's making you more anxious. You're almost over trying to deliver to impress your fans, and that's when mistakes can perhaps creep in. So it's a tricky balance. Junhui just making sure the cue ball is exactly as it was. The table is still very open, so it's not just a case of hitting this yellow for Ding. Obviously, it's not leaving it. Otherwise, O'Sullivan is very likely to win the frame.
And he's got to play with a lot of pace to try and get distance between cue ball and object ball. Oh, he's done very well there, Ding. Holds his hand up because the blue and pink are potentially snookering balls, but I think there's a little bit of a gap. No, Ding needs that yellow to pull up, and I don't think it will. This table's very fast. That always looked like it was going dangerously close to that middle pocket. He left Ding with a very awkward safety shot there, Ronnie O'Sullivan. Had the yellow just catch both knuckles of that middle pocket. There was no obvious safety shot available for Ding. It was quite tough.
Long way off with that one. So much so that the green has gone safe. Had he got closer, he might have left the green. This has been a very, very scrappy frame, but every bit as important.
Nicely controlled from Ronnie, coming in behind, knowing exactly where he was going to send that green ball. Target was pretty much central to this top cushion.
Oh dear, the dreaded double kiss. It doesn't always end up being fatal. In this case, it might do. Didn't want the cannon on the blue. So, hope for Ding yet.
Yeah, that was a really poor shot from Ronnie. There was so much room for error there. Anywhere down the right side of the table. Just had to avoid any cannon to anything, really. And he would have been perfect on the brown. So this has become very tense all of a sudden. I think both players realise the magnitude of this frame going into the interval. Ronnie at 3-1 up will be feeling great, feeling ready to kick on. Ding will be delighted to just still be in touch with Ronnie, because he has missed a few chances, hasn't he, Ding, particularly early on. It was a little bit of a shaky start. He set out with intent, though, to attack, which you can't fault him for. Now Ding can only see a part of this brown ball, so only the side-to-side option available for him, which is tough from where the cue ball is. So coming cushion first, he's caught it perfectly. Needs that cue ball to hold up, and it has. That's a fantastic shot from Ding. Played in behind the brown. Didn't want to catch it on the way down. Cushion first. Very well played. Well, and this time the mistake comes from Ronnie. He's pushed the brown over the corner pocket. So Ding, now your chance has arrived. Got to make this one count.
And in it goes. So just the blue. I would imagine this has been one of the scrappier frames these two players have ever contested.
9.
But it doesn't matter from Ding's point of view, because he has won it, and he will be extremely satisfied to be level after the start. 2-0 behind, the match already at that stage in danger of getting away from him, against a player who has very much held sway in their rivalry down the years. As it is, Ding has hit back to share the spoils at the see on Discovery Plus the respective winners to face off in Saturday's semi-final. Ding to get us back underway, and he'll be, I guess, the happier of the two, having found himself 2-0 behind. It was a pretty scratchy frame, to be honest, from O'Sullivan in the fourth. Missed a short-range red by a margin, which let Ding back in, and then eventually it was a very good safety from Ding on the brown that forced the error that got him over the line for 2-all.
Had to get his cue all over the left side of the table there, Ronnie, because of the red next to the blue. So Ding just opting to tidy the frame up there. Push that red back down the business end. More of a conventional frame now. Well, you can see he had a lot of left-hand side on the cue ball to swing it round the angles, avoid any cannon to black or red. Played it nicely. It's not very often you see that actually from Ronnie, a tap on the table. I'm sure he always appreciates good shots, but he doesn't always let you know that out in the arena.
I think Ding Junhui is definitely one of those players whom O'Sullivan has a special affection for. He loves the way he plays the game, the way he attacks the balls. It's very much O'Sullivan's style. And I think he appreciates as well, as someone who would know what it is to live with a huge burden of expectation every time he walks to the table, what Ding would have gone through. Of course, we remember that Masters final, which got a bit ugly when there were some unsavoury comments coming from the audience. Ding was struggling, and O'Sullivan went out of his way to console him. And I think they've probably shared a special bond since then, actually. And they've done, well, probably dozens, if not hundreds, of exhibitions down the years, apart from the times that they've been in competitive action in a tournament. So they've got quite a history, this pair, and it's based on a huge mutual respect, even though O'Sullivan clearly has much more often than not come out on top.
And it's quite nice to see as well, isn't it, really, because a lot of sports have big rivalries where players in this scenario on the table, you know, they don't tend to get on away from snooker, but these two very much do. As you say, a lot of mutual respect, which is great, because you can really sense that out in the arena. Both players fully aware of each other's capabilities, but it doesn't hinder the fact that they both really want to win. Well, this time Ronnie didn't manage to avoid the cannon to the black or red. He's trying to get the cue ball around the back of them, and he's left an early chance for Ding. Oh, but he's missed the red. Oh, and you can see there, he's absolutely fuming with himself. He knows just how important this frame is. Ronnie O'Sullivan presenting a chance for Ding to get his arm going in this 5th frame. What a miss that is.
One.
Wasn't really doing too much with the cue ball either, so just didn't deliver the cue properly. Came across it a fraction. Big mistake from Ding Junhui, an unforced error. Not something you want to be doing against any player on the tour. Never mind
6.
Ronnie O'Sullivan. Oh, but the cannon's gone
7.
wrong to Ronnie. Wanted to avoid the flick on the red. Just caught it on the way through, and it looks like very early on to this contribution, it's end of break.
Yeah, O'Sullivan has not pulled up any trees in the last couple of frames and a bit. He's missed a few, made a few mistakes which weren't evident in the first couple of frames.
Ronnie O'Sullivan 7.
Well, Ding was nearly doing cartwheels coming back to the table there, having only seen Ronnie make 7 from that visit. What a let-off. But that's a very poor safety shot. He's caught the red slightly too thin, which meant the cue ball had a little more pace on it than he wanted, and of course Ronnie, hand on table from that sort of range, knocks it in with no issues.
Table isn't great right now, with both black and pink awkward. But with O'Sullivan, that may not last very long.
Six.
Just got to force this cue ball up a little bit. Didn't have as much angle as he would have
7.
liked on that red to get nicely on the blue, but again he struck it nicely. He's got a little bit of angle here. Taking the chance to get into that pink, and he's hit it sweet. Fantastic shot from Ronnie O'Sullivan, able to manipulate the cue ball so well. Really got into that, created more angle than it perhaps seemed. You're only able to do that if you strike the ball
13.
sweetly, and he's not struck that one well. For those watching Ronnie in these scenarios where
18.
he's able to generate more angle and more spin,
19.
it is because of how he hits the ball. He gets the maximum amount out of it, and that's all down to the strike. Gets right through the cue ball, accelerates properly, generates as much as he can, which in turn makes the game easier. He's able to move the cue ball round a lot better, and all of a sudden getting little angles on
25.
object balls doesn't seem as important, because he knows he's able to get there, he's able to get anywhere on the table.
Judd Trump took that tight 4th frame, by the way, over Si Jiahui, so Trump 3-1 up at their interval on Discovery
Super
Plus. See, having missed the red along the top rail.
32.
This is a prime example. There isn't a lot of angle on this blue, but just watch how much reaction Ronnie gets out of his cue ball. Just powers through the top of the white. A little bit of left-hand side just to try and speed it up off the cushion. He's underhit it a fraction. He's still got this red available to left corner, but you can see how far the cue ball just travelled there.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 37.
Definitely cause for optimism for Ding. O'Sullivan isn't playing anywhere near his best at the moment in this match. He does have a useful lead, but that's all it is at this stage. There's still plenty of points there, albeit that the black is still out of commission. And Ding has played a decent safety. Although it looks as though, that said, O'Sullivan can get through to this red to pot it. He's overcut it though by a margin.
Playing round the back of the red on the left of the table. Needs to be careful not to leave that for Ronnie. Pretty good length on his cue ball. Well, Ronnie possibly going for this red, trying to swing the cue ball round. Oh, dear me, what a strike that is. Fantastic pot from Ronnie O'Sullivan. You could see him just gearing himself up for that one. He struck it so well. Just when you think you've played a pretty good safety shot, he just finds a way.
Five.
The brown wasn't shabby either. Very thin cut, very nicely controlled. And 3
6.
excellent pots from O'Sullivan to get him on the cusp of moving back in front.
Those 3 pots there, the shots of the match for me so far. He struck each one so well.
8.
Earned himself a chance to see out this frame now, take a 3-2 lead.
9.
You saw Ding's reaction early in this frame when he had the chance and missed. Thumped the table because
15.
O'Sullivan had rather gone off the boil after the first 2, and there was an opportunity there for Ding to potentially move in front, keep the pressure on. As it is, an excellent opening red from O'Sullivan, the follow-up brown, and then the further red. All beautifully struck have given him the opportunity to go on and win this 5th frame.
$29. Ronnie O'Sullivan, 29 in the frame.
Ronnie O'Sullivan wins the frame without Ding registering a point. I think Junhui just having a word with Junhui Lee, just checking. In fact, it's O'Sullivan's turn to break. Frame 6. O'Sullivan 3-2 up. Going for his 5th consecutive Shanghai Masters, but he won't be thrilled with that break-off. It's been a bit up and down from O'Sullivan so far.
Yeah, and I suppose it was in his previous match as well. Zhao Junhui, the young Chinese wild card.
What?
He didn't play perfect snooker there, but I don't think that'll bother him. I don't think he, will be bothered by that one bit. Ronnie, the sort of champion that likes to play his way into an event, save his best stuff till it matters most, and I suppose these early rounds is just about getting the job done. And as you say, he's gifted a few chances away to Ding, and Ding, of course, is capable to take them, but
Junhui, what?
he's missing a few himself. But what is happening is that it's landing a little bit awkward for him every time he comes to the table. Okay, the misread in the previous frame was unforgivable, but in frames gone by, the chances haven't been as clear-cut as Ding would have liked.
What?
Certainly a better pot than it looked. It wasn't as straightforward as it might appear on screen. Now then.
If the referee had picked the cue ball up off the table there and gave it to Ding and said, put it wherever you want, that's exactly where he would have put it. Low on this red to be able to screw it in and bring other reds into play. What a positional shot that was from Ding. Brilliant stuff. But now he has to make it count. He's got the reds open. Only really got the black to work off down this high scoring area of the table. Look at the other colours, so awkward up there. This is where cue ball control is so important. If he's able to stay on the black for as long as possible, it makes his job easier.
The
one break of substance so far from Ding, the 81 clearance that he made for 2-1. Just as important was the fact that he won that very scrappy fourth frame to level things up. Had the early chance in the fifth, couldn't take it, but now looking to capitalise in this sixth frame, level again.
One thing we don't often say with Ding is he's lost his cue ball there, but he did do. Overhit the brown by some margin, but recovered the situation nicely. He's back in prime position. Couple of reds to play on down the left side of the table. Wanted to be straighter on this red to get on the black.
21.
He was able to play a little brush cannon to one of the reds next to it, and it's gone wrong because that red has now come to cover the black. It was all from the green. Wanted to be straighter on that red to avoid playing any sort of cannons. Like that one. Ronnie needing to play with a lot of swerve here, and it's all about the pace. Well, he's hit the reds obviously, but he's stuck one up. So that fantastic shot from Ding to lay the snooker has created another chance. Was in a lot of trouble there, Ronnie. When you're digging down on the ball, trying to swerve, so difficult to control the pace.
Eight. 9.
So far so good in this frame. It's been a steady response from Ding. Just got to keep himself focused now.
16.
And that's
17.
another nicely played shot. You could see the yellow and blue, a little bit of a hindrance under his arm there, just as he fully extended to deliver that shot. Had to make sure he kept his elbow high. I think that little bit of frustration we saw in the last frame as well from the missed red is partly down to the fact Ding probably acknowledges that Ronnie isn't quite hitting the
24.
highs that we so often see from him. He probably senses this is a chance.
I'm sure that's true.
25.
Just the 5 wins in their 27 previous meetings for Ding.
32. 33.
It was the snooker he laid that set up this chance. And now the frame is surely his.
41.
So a good response from Ding to missing that easy one at the start of the previous frame and ultimately not scoring in the frame.
$48. 49.
What started out as a best of 11 has now become a best of 5 for a place in the semi-final to take on either Judd Trump or Si Junhui. It's really just heating
56.
up nicely. This the hottest ticket in the city. Ding Junhui against Ronnie O'Sullivan. Everyone wants to see this
57.
match.
It's been a long time coming as well, as mentioned. You've got to go back to 2009 for the last time they played in China in this tournament. O'Sullivan winning on his way to his maiden Shanghai Masters, now going for his 6th. Ding going for a hat-trick.
61.
And very much staying in contention, which is absolutely what he had to do. O'Sullivan
65.
off to a quick start with a 2-0 lead. Crucially, Ding was able to take that scrappy 3rd frame, and then the 4th. It was the 4th that was the scrappy one. Vital that he got out of that session unscathed, which he did. And he's responded well to losing the 1st after the interval. This has been a
74.
really nice break, but it was the snooker he laid that set the chance up. O'Sullivan leaving the red in, going into the bunch.
$74.
74 from Ding Junhui, and we're level again at the midway point of this quarter-final in Shanghai. 3 frames all. Ding Junhui, fresh from that excellent break of 74 to level this match once again, breaking off in frame 7. It's 3 all. First to 6 to go through to play Judd Trump or Si Junhui, with Si at the table early in frame 5. Trump leading on table 2 by 3 frames to 1. You can watch that on Discovery Plus. Ronnie O'Sullivan has been a little uneven today in his performance. Started with a break of 85, doubled his lead in no time with a further run of 50 plus, but since then there have been quite a few errors from him. So Ding will feel that if he can raise his game a couple of notches, he's got a great chance to score just his 6th victory over the defending champion.
One thing that was evident from both Ronnie and Ding's previous match in this event, they both got better as the game went on. As the game got to the nitty-gritty when it mattered most, they both produced good snooker. Ronnie finished off his match against Zhao Xinhao with breaks of 78, 85, 79 and 60. And of course, we've already mentioned Ding's contribution in the deciding frame against Ali Carter was quite magical. The initial red was outrageous, really. Took the frame out from that visit. So that's something to cling on to. We've perhaps not had the fireworks we may have anticipated so far in this game, but there's still a best of 5 to be played in this best of 11. And with players of this calibre, it could quite easily just turn on at the death of this match. So, chance for Ronnie to play safe off the pack, possibly re-promote the black. He has done, but he's pushed a red over the corner pocket. He needs that cue ball to run in behind a baulk colour, and, well, what a flick he's just had on the yellow. Ding in all sorts of trouble now. Red over the right corner pocket, red over the left corner pocket. What do you do here? Only really got the main cluster of reds to go at. No obvious routes back to baulk.
Yes, he was in a world of difficulty there, Ding. Sullivan got lucky with the flick that fluked snookers on the 2 reds that were available. That could prove the definitive moment in this frame. But O'Sullivan has had a mistake in him today, so from his point of view, he'll want to regroup now and make something substantial off this chance.
1.
Yeah, he's okay on this red. He can just stun across the face of the black for it into the same pocket. Get that back on its spot, and this is a wonderful chance now for Ronnie O'Sullivan.
Twelve. 17.
Just needs to play a little holding cannon here with the cue ball, possibly just push another red nicely into play. That little cannon has unlocked a few more reds.
20.
all covering one another. Just slowly
21.
working this little puzzle out now. His decision making happens so fast out there.
28.
Just sees the ball. He's seen everything there is to see in this game. He's been in this position no end of times. Almost
29.
becomes muscle memory. Just recognise the shots, know where to leave your cue ball. Happens in a split second, something that the average club player just can't comprehend. Just working out your patterns is key, trying to make it as easy as possible.
36.
Ronnie, one of the best,
37.
if not the best, there ever has been at doing that. Everything just flows so quickly. Always looking to leave himself
44.
options as well, playing for big areas where he can't really not be on the ball nicely to continue the break. That's pretty much the key to break building,
45.
leaving yourself options until eventually they're all gone and the frame is won. Here we're seeing just why Ronnie is so clinical, scores so heavy.
50. 51.
And yet, but for that handy little cannon at the start of this frame, these could have been Ding Junhui's. Those are the fine margins in this sport.
57.
But this has been O'Sullivan's most convincing snooker since he led 2-0.
58. 65. 66.
So this black for 4-3. There was an air of inevitability about it from the moment that
73.
Ding stuck him up when he was in all kinds of trouble trying to leave things safe. It was almost impossible with
74.
reds over the opposite corners.
$81. 82.
Hasn't yet made a century in this tournament. This could be the moment for O'Sullivan.
$88. 89.
Look to play on this red and possibly leave himself an angle on the pink to then try and promote the red from the side cushion, coming across the face of it. Able to do that now. Just wants to leave himself a
96.
little low angle on this pink. Just flick that red away. Pink for the ton then.
97.
Well, he's gone too far to promote the red unless he can force it over. Going to be the double, but regardless, what a beautifully constructed contribution this has been from the Rocket, Ronnie O'Sullivan.
103. 104.
Not done yet.
Can't threaten the high break, currently held by
111.
Barry Hawkins, 141. £10,000 available for the highest break this week,
113.
but Ronnie won't be too concerned with that. This has been a big visit to the table, chance to re-establish a lead in this match and go within two.
116.
It's just what he does, isn't it? He just switches it on when he needs to. As I said earlier, not quite been the fireworks we might have expected,
120.
but that could soon change.
125. $131. Frame.
Doesn't bother with the black. A 131 from Ronnie O'Sullivan.
In the middle.
Well, you can watch that on Discovery Plus. Ronnie O'Sullivan, left-handed, breaking off in frame 8. Of course, one of the most memorable meetings between this pair came in the Welsh Open title match when O'Sullivan made a maximum break to seal victory, potting the final black left-handed. That was one of the iconic moments of the sport. Incredible performance from O'Sullivan that day and in that frame.
Yeah, forget the last black he potted. How good was the red he played left-handed? Oh, but what a pot that is from Ding, and it was exactly what the doctor ordered. He's got to respond again to Ronnie O'Sullivan's magical 1-3-1, and that's a fantastic start to this frame. Cued it beautifully. That was so similar to the red he knocked in the deciding frame, which led to a 95 clearance against Ali Carter. This time, though, the split hasn't finished perfect. It's got a red to middle, but this is so tough. Leaving reds, should he miss it.
Yeah, there was a lot of pressure on that, in the knowledge that O'Sullivan was bound to have an opening if he missed. And of course, coming to the table fresh from that 1-3-1, well and truly in the groove now, O'Sullivan. He's often saved his best snooker for Ding, hasn't he? We talked about that performance at the World Grand Prix earlier this season, which is arguably the finest display of snooker I think I've ever seen. I mean, it was just incredible what he did in that match. He was perfect, basically, unplayable.
Four.
And that's a great word for Ronnie, isn't it? Perfect. He's always searching for perfection. He's always so critical over his performance, even when the average person thinks he's played wonderfully. He'll always be the first to criticise his performance, but yeah, he can just produce the magic when it matters most.
And how about that for a recovery? He's well and truly got his eye in now. That's perhaps a shot that a couple of frames ago he'd have missed.
15.
But he's taken his game up a level. I mean, it bears repeating that he was a little bit lucky, wasn't he, initially in getting in for that 1-3-1, because he could so easily have left that chance for Ding, but having got the opportunity, boy, did he take it, and now he's threatening to do something similar again here.
At the highest level in any sport, a little rub of the green, a little bit of luck here and there goes a very long way, because the players and sports people are so good at taking advantage of it. But that's the key. It's, can they take advantage of it? It's okay and all well and good getting the little bit of run here and there. It's what you do with it. And Ronnie couldn't have done much more in that last frame, but popped the last black. It was a fantastic contribution. And again, back in early on in this frame, Ding was unlucky with his split, really. It wasn't the most inviting pack to go into from the black. It was pretty flat.
27.
Always difficult to get the reds moving. Made
28.
even more difficult by the fact he had to drop the red into the middle dead weight, knowing he was leaving a red.
$35. 36. 53.
No cannons required
44.
for the rest of this break for Ronnie O'Sullivan. You can see they all pot, and as he pots one, will uncover another. Well, chose to go into the three reds. That could have gone wrong. He is on one to left middle, though.
51.
Can just squeeze through.
52. $55. 56.
Well, he's found an extra gear since 3 each, O'Sullivan. Some of the old champagne snooker coming to the fore as this match heads into its critical phase. He's almost certainly going to be 2 up with 3 to play.
$62. 63.
That was
Very
frame
little
ball.
cannon. Sorry, Phil, into the red and pink here. Just open them up. Ooh, it's gone wrong for a possible second century.
7.
You saw the irritation in O'Sullivan's face there. The frame's won,
Runners are even 7.
barring a number of snookers. 62 the difference, with only 51 there. 3 required for Ding.
One. Junhui 1.
And Ding concedes. In truth, the frame was gone already. So Ronnie O'Sullivan extends his lead. Point of no return for Ding Junhui. 3-5 down, with 3 still to come potentially.
Well, a real miss-hit at the red from range from Ronnie. But did get away with it. Didn't leave anything available for Ding but to play a safety to the top cushion, so possible little stalemate here. Neither player able to play up to the balk area for the time being. Ronnie taking the chance to just tidy the frame up again, narrowly avoiding the double kiss to the red. Yeah, it's going to take something special, isn't it, from Ding from here on out if he's going to see out this match and make a miraculous comeback. He hasn't played badly, Ding. He's surrendered a couple of opportunities which we perhaps thought he may have taken, but you know, on the whole, he's looked pretty good. He's stayed positive, which personally I like to see.
Judd Trump now 4-2 up on table 2, courtesy of that break of 75 just now after Junhui had made a 1-2-3 to make it 3-2.
Great line on the cue ball from Ronnie again. Saw the chance to nail Ding, big target over behind that brown and green. Looks as if he's cut off the left side of the table, which was important. And you can see Ding really with not much to go at. Could only see that red. He was having to do a lot with the cue ball as well. So the good safety shot once again from Ronnie O'Sullivan has presented this chance. First couple of shots important here. He's played that well, just dragged it in to control the pace of the cue ball. You could hear someone in the crowd there just call out 147.
He hasn't seemed especially inclined in going for them in more recent times, O'Sullivan.
8. 9.
He's made 15 of them, of course, which is a record, including the one that still defies belief. What was it? Now revised down to 5 minutes and 9 seconds against Mick Price.
17.
The most remarkable thing about that record is that when you watch the break, it doesn't feel as though he's particularly rushing. It's all very controlled. Obviously, the cue ball was immaculate.
Yeah, he was just floating around the table, wasn't he? Like you say, he never looked like he was rushing one bit.
24.
It's hard to clear a lineup in practice in 5 minutes, never mind make a maximum and out there in the arena. He really is special, isn't he, Ronnie O'Sullivan? First and foremost, though, there's a job to be done here, and it's win this frame and with it the match. Well, that's worked out okay. That's a nice cannon, pushed a few more into play.
I think Ding is already a little resigned, even though it's still early in the frame, to his fate here.
You're right, though, in what you say about Ronnie. He's not been really that bothered about making 147s, but I get the impression he likes China that much. Somewhere like this would be a good event for him to do it.
Well, as we've already discussed, he's got previous in sealing victory on the big occasion with a maximum
41.
against Ding. It's hard to imagine the decibel level if he were to replicate that today. I think the roof would be raised.
$48. $49.
But that's not happening.
You could hear the few murmurs in the crowd. They're all absolutely fuming at you, Ronnie. Stay on the black. No, as I say, there's a job to be done. He's a professional.
54.
Doesn't want to take anything for granted, treating Ding again, as we expected, with the utmost
55.
respect. He's got to win the frame at this visit now. And he looks good to do so.
$62.
And it's the way he's raised his game from 3 each, because at that stage he wasn't playing especially well. But in the last 3 frames, it's been a different story, but that red stays out.
62.
And there are still enough points there for Ding, so maybe there's a twist in this tale. Still 7 reds on the table, and very little safe.
One.
Again, wasn't forced to play the cannon, Ronnie chose to do it. And it did go wrong because that wasn't an easy pot he took onto the yellow pocket.
6.
Not just the pot, but the cue ball as well, trying to navigate it through the reds. Ding just has to get himself back into this frame to begin with.
7.
Even though there's 2 reds just slightly safe, the one on the right, the one beneath the black, they're not too bad actually.
13.
Either one landing on them at some stage will give the availability to Ding to then just drop on the black to then rest in
14.
behind the next red. So this has to be said, it's a pretty good chance this for Ding.
$19. 20. 24. 25.
So these next 4 shots really are the ones that are going to tell us if Ding is going to go on to pinch this frame. Would love a slight angle on this black just to get in behind that red. Yeah, nicely done. So now this is the shot. If he can drop this red down the rail, leave himself low on the black, just drop the cue ball over that side of the table, that would be absolutely perfect.
33.
The crowd willing him on to extend this match to at least 1 more frame. And what a way it would be to do so if he could clear up when it looked for all the world as though O'Sullivan was applying the finishing touches. But this is not straightforward. This is a tricky little cut for Ding.
Oh, how he'd have loved that cue ball to have just bounced slightly more into the table. This is a horrible shot. The pocket is out of his eye line to some degree. just relying solely on picking the correct line. And he has done. Great shot.
4-1.
Packs of pressure. It looks on the face of it straightforward from here, but it isn't.
$47.
So the 6 remaining colours to keep your hopes alive in this Shanghai Masters, Ding.
49.
Goodness me, goodness me.
52.
And because he's potted it badly, he's lost the cue ball for the brown.
Oh, it was a bad strike, wasn't it? You could see he sort of hesitated on delivery there. This little thing of his action has just crept in the past few years. He almost like double hits when the pressure's on, sort of goes through and then goes through again. It didn't do him any favours on that shot. What a mistake.
Oh, he's overcut it. What a shame.
Ding Junhui, 52.
And discards his extension in disgust. O'Sullivan needs brown and blue for victory.
Yeah, the green went in thin, didn't it? Which meant
4.
ultimately Ding lost the cue ball. So just this blue, Ronnie O'Sullivan to book his place in the semi-finals.
And then it goes.
9.
So Ronnie O'Sullivan once again proving irresistible in Shanghai. It's been an incredible record that he's built over the years, and he's on course for a 6th title here, which will be his 5th in a row. He's seen off Ding Junhui, who had the chance to extend the match there, but potted the green badly, missed the brown, and O'Sullivan marches on to the semi-finals. Disappointment for Ding, but the rocket is through to the last 4. He defeats Ding Junhui by 6 frames to 3.